You can't get to B until you've figured out what your A is. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kate Philpott, founder of More to Life. And so I said last week that I'm going to be posting videos every week. Yes. However, this week you get lucky because it's the end of a quarter. One of my favorite times as a Virgo because I can just review everything and then plan everything. So this video is going to be our Q3 review. We're going to go through a bunch of prompts. I'm going to answer them myself. I'm going to be completely honest about how I've been feeling about my own progress and where I've been at in life and everything. And then you're going to get a bonus video, which is going to be a Q4 planning, goal planning. Let's break this down. I'm going to be completely honest about what my goals are for the end of the year. I would never actually show the specific things I'm planning for because it felt so vulnerable to me. I was like, oh, if I actually tell people that this is what I'm aiming for, then everyone's going to know if I don't hit it. So I'm just going to put it out there. And part of this YouTube channel is going to be me documenting the journey of getting there. By the way, yes, I am nasally as bejesus because I just got back from holidays yesterday. Hence why I'm still wearing summery clothes because I'm not mentally ready to put that behind me. It was one of the best holidays ever with my boyfriend. Basically, air conditioning just decided to throw my respiratory system to the wind. So that's why I sound a bit quarterly reviews and quarterly goal setting things are just honestly one of my favorite things to do. It's rebirth. You get to completely switch up the energy and just start from fresh. So let's get started. If there are lessons that I've learned, I'm going to share them here because that is going to help you cut the learning curve. Things are going to take a lot longer if you're just on the journey on your own, but if you're listening to those around you and those who are on a similar path and they're sharing lessons that they've learned as well from being on that path, you want to listen to those things. First things first, I think one of the best things you can do at the end of a quarter is to look back at the highlights. They could be achievements, they could be things that you're proud of, they could just be amazing things that happen to you. Because when we go through the sometimes mundane, the day to day and everything is similar and blah blah blah, you kind of don't realize how much good is actually happening in your life. So June, July and August, what positives came out of those 3 months? So this is what I wrote for my highlights of Q3. I launched a full-length course, The Art of Progressing. I launched my very first masterclass, Compounding Progress. I launched this YouTube channel. I've reached much greater heights in my relationship. I successfully negotiated a pay rise. I have worked on my upper limits regarding what kind of comments I get. I just got back from Crete, like I said, with my boyfriend, and that was honestly one of my favorite holidays I think I've ever been on. It was sunshine, literally sunshine and rainbows. Also, I started working from a place of real inspiration and what feels good in my business in Q3. I also really up-leveled who I'm following on Instagram. These people, these powerful women are just showing me what can actually be done and how amazing things get to be. I hit 150 kilos hip thrusts. Which is a pretty heavy weight. I lost some weight in Q3. I'm now around 10 stone. I started money mindset work again. I turned 26. I also hit a 70 kilo squat for 10 reps, which I had a whole mindset block around 70 kilo squats because of something kind of scary that happened to me in the gym 6 or 7 years ago. 30-minute workouts after my morning shifts have been working really, really well. I had been trying to do an hour and my morning shifts start at 6, which means I have to wake up at 5. And there was no way I could do 6 to 12 and then a whole hour workout. I just couldn't mentally do it. I also finished all of my driving lessons. In Ireland, you have to do 12 driving lessons before you can do your test, and I have finished all 12 now, so I'm just waiting for my driving test. I also improved my posting consistency. So I had been really inconsistent with posting for a while. Now I'm posting every day. It's rare that I'd miss a day, and I'm really excited to have that cadence back. And I also rediscovered Hayley Hoffman Smith and spirituality and manifestation and stuff. I had been a big fan of Hayley Hoffman Smith And she was up leveling so much, and I was watching her weekly vlogs, and I was listening to her podcast, and I was watching her Instagram stories every day, and I was like, she's the same age as me. In fact, I think she might even be younger than me. And she's like living in this 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, and it's beautiful. And like, I'm watching her TikTok following just explode and her YouTube following explode. And she's just released a song, or maybe even more than one song. And I think it just got a little too triggering for me. Like, I was like, how is she doing all of this? And I am what felt like I was staying stuck. And now I've rediscovered her, and I'm taking inspiration from her again. Actually, me binging her podcast episodes was what ended up leading to the brainstorm that led to me starting this YouTube channel. Looking at this list, I feel really good about myself, and I know the actions that I took in the last 3 months, they were all to do with me growing into my best self, my higher self, whatever you want to call it. And if I continue to act from this place, only good things can happen. Working through mindset blocks and just showing up and doing the hard things. And that's what improving your life is all about. You have to raise your standards for yourself so that the standards of your life raise themselves as well. Looking at the highlights of Q3, I feel like I'm doing that, and it's just okay. Right now is the perfect time to rate your life areas out of 10. I'm just going to give a bunch of life categories, and you can rate those out of 10 and just see where you're at with things. First, we have physical health, career and finances, love, social, and mindset. You'll be able to see what your strongest of those life categories is, and you'll be able to see what your weakest is. So maybe you'll look at the weakest and you'll be like, actually, yeah, this is something that maybe I've been ignoring, or maybe my energy has been a little shitty around. For me, for example, career and finances, that's something I've been focusing on, and I've made some pretty big strides in the last few months, but there are still things that I would change. Like, don't tell my boss, but I want to quit my job and do this full time. So obviously, that would be a 10. If I could do this full time and go travel and work remotely, that is like the dream. So I couldn't possibly say a 10 for this, because I'm not doing that right now. I live in Ireland, and I have this job that isn't my end goal. For each one, write down 1 to 3 things that are going well under that category, and 1 to 3 things that are not going so well or that you would change. Those little insights are the ones I find make the biggest difference. You do that, and then we will move on. For physical health, I gave myself a 5 out of 10. In general, in my life right now, I would say the 30-minute workouts after my morning shifts are working really, really well for me. Creatine is working really well for my strength. I'm really noticing in the gym I've got so much more strength since I started taking creatine again. And my things that I would change, I would say definitely not eating enough veg and not getting enough share. Career and finances, I gave myself another 5 out of 10. I just negotiated a pay rise, so my job is now more worthwhile for me to do. That's hugely beneficial. Also, my true crime YouTube channel, it's monetized, so I do get ad revenue from it. So it's still a small amount at the moment, but my focus for the end of the year is going to be to grow it a little more. As for negatives, or like things I would change, the income from More to Life is not at a sustainable rate at the moment. So that's another quite vulnerable thing for me to say out loud. I would like to get it to a point where I at least know roughly like some kind of range that's coming in. Another thing that I would change is I would love to grow my audience more. I just want to reach more people with the message that I have to share. In the last few months, I've had people in my DMs saying, "Oh my God, your content has really inspired me, really motivated me, really changed my outlook on life." And the fact that I can do that for a small amount of people is so amazingly beautiful. So the thought of being able to do that for a bunch more people is just so exciting to me, and I would love to be able to expand my reach in that way. For love, I gave myself a 9 out of 10 because I am currently in the most wonderful, beautifully soul aligned relationship, and everything just flows really well, and we are very, very happy together. I would also say under the love category, if you're not in a relationship, focus this on like self-love, or you could also focus it on like dating if you want to. But self-love is such a huge thing as well. So I think you can pop that in there. And the only reason I even stumbled into this relationship is because I'd gotten to such a good place with myself, and I suppose fell in love with myself. And then things I would change there, I would change the fact that we're not living together. Another thing that I would change there is that I don't really get a whole lot of me time because I'm so excited to spend my time with him. But I do also know that I'm so much more in my power when I do have that me time, particularly because I'm like 97% introvert, and that's just what refills my power. So if I can have more time on my own, I'm going to be a more well-rounded version of me. Again, these are very vulnerable things to share, but I don't care. I'm laying it all out on the table on this channel. Social, I said the good things, I've been more sociable over the last 3 months. Then not so good things, I'm not really sure why this keeps happening, but it's happened a few times recently. Something's felt off to me and I don't know why, but like I'll just say something and as soon as I say it, I'm like, oh, I meant that as a joke, but it just made me sound like a dick and I don't want to I don't want to be a dick. Like that's not my intention at all. It's just like it kind of came out the wrong way and I'm not really sure why that's happening, but it's something I want to explore. Things I would change regarding my social life. I would love to have a female friendship or a female friendship group. I had a huge friend breakup in 2020 and there is still a lot of unanswered questions there, but there is a little bit of a void, if I'm completely honest, for like real aligned and empowering friendships. And for mindset, things that are going really well. First of all, I've learned how to do tapping alone without following a video. So that's been really beneficial for me. And also, if I get triggered, I just know, okay, when I have a chance, I'm going to do some self regulation on this. What I would change about my mindset is recently I have actually been feeling a little more stuck, especially now since I just got back from holidays. I'm like, damn, I just want to be away all the time. I just want to explore all the time. So the fact that right now I do kind of have to live in Ireland, that just makes me feel a little stuck. It's not an identity I want to take on, that I am a stuck person at all, at all, at all. You know how it is. Now, let's move on to lessons learned. Here are some of the lessons that I learned over the last 3 months. Consistency is so much more important than perfection. Being your authentic self and having fun is magical and magnetic for the process. I am emotionally safe in my relationship. I am worthy of love. Alignment is a fucking babe. Discomfort serves you every time. I learned how to drive and it's been going really well. I've been learning Polish and I'm now at the point where I'm starting to understand conversations. My boyfriend is Polish, so when he speaks to his parents, he speaks to them in Polish, which is a little difficult when you don't understand the language, but I'm starting to get there with that. I also learned that it is safe and expansive to try new foods. I have emetophobia, which kind of limits me a little bit when it comes to trying new foods. That has limited me for a long, long time. Honestly, since I was 15. Oh, this is a big one. To achieve X results, you must do X things. So insert adjective here. If you want to achieve shitty results, you must do shitty things. So if you're getting shitty results, maybe that's a sign that you're doing shitty things. To achieve incredibly mind-blowing results, you must be doing incredibly mind-blowing things. And I've learned not to hoard content ideas and that more amazing ideas are gonna come. And it's much more effective to post the good ideas that you have like right now rather than leave them there and wait, because the energy of that idea diminishes. And I know this sounds kind of woo-woo, but like if you're really excited about a content idea and like even if you create the content, if you still have to write the caption or pick the hashtags and stuff, you're not in the energy of being so hyped about that content anymore. So how is it going to still have the same energy of hype that you came up with it with? It's much better to just, if you're super hyped about an idea, fucking post it right now, and then just trusting that more amazing ideas will come. Looking at the lessons I've learned in the last 3 months, I'm like, holy shit, that's actually quite a bit of growth. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I think let's just move through one more prompt. Let's look at what the challenges have been in Q3. All the while knowing that you have overcome every single thing on this list. Sometimes when you're in the middle of those things, it doesn't feel like you're going to get through it. As for challenges I've overcome in the last 3 months, I'm only going to talk about three here because three huge ones came up for me. One was launching The Art of Progressing. I came up against so many mindset blocks, imposter syndrome, honestly, mainly imposter syndrome. I was like, who do I think I am that I can put out a course and blah, 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 blah. But what is in that course is shit hot. It's so good. There's no reason why it shouldn't be out there. Like, that is some really impactful information all packed into this one course. I just kept procrastinating, putting it off, and I finally did it. So I'm really, really proud of myself for that. Another one is I've had some challenges around upper limits on social media, and I specifically mean comments. Every time I got a comment, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I would see that little comment symbol. Before I even read the comment, I'd be like, oh no, assuming that it's a negative comment or a hate comment. And I've done some major journaling and tapping on that. And the last challenge that I want to talk about is something I've briefly mentioned, and that's negotiating my pay rise. I really felt like, first of all, I was like, it's ridiculous that I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to be paid this amount. I definitely deserve more. And I was just building up a resentment for my job, for my boss. I grew myself a little pair of lady balls and I walked on in there, and look how that turned out. I did get a pay rise. I could have just put it off and built up that resentment. So I'm really proud that I did that. Okay, so that has been our Q3 review video. I hope you've gained a lot from this. It has been really vulnerable for me to share my own personal review, but I do feel like sharing your vulnerabilities is incredibly valuable, and I really appreciate when people do that in their content. So, I'm inspired by that. I want to share my own vulnerabilities. You don't even have to wait a whole week for another video because we're going to be doing our Q4 planning session tomorrow, which, like, I love self reviews, but planning, goal setting is my like, it's my kryptonite. It's my thing. It is just like, it's my therapy. That's where I think magic is gonna come out of the sky. So it's gonna really set you up very, very nicely for Q4 and just finishing off 2022 with a bang. At least now we've looked at the last 3 months, we've looked at where we stand with ourselves with all of the main life areas, and that's just a really good place to start afresh. If you want to go from A to B, you can't get to B until you've figured out what your A is. Figuring out that current situation is how you're going to figure out the action steps and the kind of action that you need to take towards your B. So yes, I really hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, please do give it a like. It honestly helps me so much, particularly because this is such a new YouTube channel. So I really appreciate if you do that. And if you share them on your Instagram stories, mwah, I love you. But I'm going to see you tomorrow. See you then. Have an amazing day. Mwah.